Hello, Stampin Friends. How is everyone doing today? This is Caron, your ATX Stampin Lady, and you guys, first of all, let me apologize for being an hour late. Yes, I'm sorry. I got home from work a little bit late, a lot late actually, and by the time I got everything pre-cut and so on and so forth, had a little bit of dinner, here we are with the time. If you are watching, can you just take a minute to let me know if you can see everything? Hold on, let me go ahead and share as well. That way we can make sure that folks know that we're live. And we can do what we gotta do. Give me just a moment. Alright, so I have shared, so hopefully we'll have some folks joining me tonight. Guys, I am completely excited for tonight. We are going to revisit or have a little bit another play with the Garden Poetry Suite Collection. I introduced to you this suite collection last week. I mean, not last week, earlier this week, in our Make It Monday session, where we went ahead and we created 2 cards on Monday featuring this bundle. This suite, because it is a suite, and these were the cards that we created. Let me see what we're looking like with the lights. Sorry guys, the lights have to be up really high for me. I find I'm getting blind and I can't see things a lot, so I do tend to have lights as high as I can so that I'm able to see and I'm not making a complete mess. But these were the 2 cards that we created on Monday during our Make It Monday, and tonight for Case It Thursdays, I went on and I looked online on Stampin Up website, and I picked 3 of the projects that Stampin Up has on the website that showcases this suite, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to create these cards this evening. Okay, so here's 1, 2, 3, and then I found the 4th. It's not the same pattern, but I like the design and I want to go ahead and play with it. So we are going to make 4 cards this evening featuring the Garden Poetry Collection, a suite collection, of which Paradise Garden is the stamp and die bundle that accompanies that suite. Hello everybody, I am Caron Bailey. I am your independent demonstrator with Stampin Up, and I'm inviting you to come on into the craft room as we create 4 amazing cards this evening. I try to go ahead and do a lot of pre-cutting and ahead of time, which is one of the reasons that we were late tonight, but we might still have to bring those things out. If we do, just relax, have fun, and let's get started. So this suite is part of the online exclusive, so that you will not find it in the Stampin' Up catalog. And the suite is $100 for the entire suite, and that includes, again, the stamp and die, and this is a stamp die, the hybrid embossing folder, which is this guy. There is some Berry Burst ribbon and the DSP. All of that is included in this for $100. So let's just go ahead and get started because it's already late and I don't want to keep you up too late for this evening. So I'm going to try to start with the simplest, and then, not that they're difficult, but I'm going to start with the quote-unquote simplest card and work from there. All right. So here's the project that we're going to work from first. Now the color you might not see, it's for whatever reason, this is the color my printer comes out. So I decided I was going to go with the Timid Tiger as my card color. And so let's go ahead and grab those stamps and get started. I've already I've already embossed our panel. And I believe I cut this to 4 by 5 1/4. Let's see, what did I cut this at? Nope, this is 3 3/4 by 5. I like to leave a little bit in the event that I want to layer. So I went with a 3 3/4 by 5. And this is a piece of scrap. I call it scrap, but it's what we're going to use for die cutting, stamping, and die cutting the elements. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our stamps. I didn't get to stick this down because there's something that I wanted to do instead, and those just arrived today. Stampin' Storage just had announced that they were coming out with some, what do they call them? Stamp and die cards, right? That they came out with the stamp and die cards to fit the new Stampin' Up packaging. So those just came in today, and I wanted to try it out to see how I liked it. So we're going to go ahead and work with that. I'm going to try that out to see if I like it and if I will continue to use them in the future. Okay, so let me go ahead and clean my stamp because I see the ink from Monday is still on my stamps. So I just want to clean them off a little bit. Okay. Just wanted to clean them off just a little bit. All right. So now that they're clean, so based on the, let's put this aside because I don't need that just yet. So we're going to be working with Timid Tiger, and it looks like we're working with Timid Tiger in first and second generation stamping. So let's go ahead and do that. The first thing we're going to stamp, I'm probably going to need some more scrap here. So as I'm looking at this, I can see that the leaves are full generation. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that out. And I would say I need about maybe 2 of them. Okay, here's one. Okay. The beauty of the Stampin' Up ink is that they dry back. So they will lighten up just a little bit when we stamp them. And then here is number 2. Okay. And then we'll go with the leaves. Okay. And I put space in there because we are going to run these through the die cutting machine. Yeah. So there's those. And then it looks like we've got about 3 of the leaves, or the flowers. Excuse me, guys. I walked outside and this morning, and then when I came back, and every single car that's parked along the street, it has this thick layer of pollen on it. So My allergies have just been making themselves known, yeah? All right, so we're going to do 2 of these. And we're going to stamp them off because they appear lighter than the leaves, right? So one way to do that is we're going to stamp off. And here we go. Yep, that's perfect. Oh, there's something on my stamp. Hold on. It's like a hair or something. There we go. There we go. That's gone. We're going to stamp it again. I hope you guys are excited. I know I am. I placed my pre-order for the items coming out in the May through August, some of the items in the May through August kit. And I got a notification that they're on the way. So I'm excited about that. Let's see what else we're going to need here. I'm going to stamp, it looks like this one, the single one. So let's stamp one of those out. And I'm not 100% concerned with that one if I get the entire leaf, because it's going to be under, but I'm going to try my best to make sure that I have it. Let's condition the stamp a little bit. Perfect. And we're going to do the same thing. Might need a third leaf. I'm looking at it and I'm like, we might need a third one. And I'm going to stamp this right on here. Okay. I think I'm going to need a third. Sometimes it's best just to stamp it out before you need it. So let's just go ahead and do that. So that I have it. If I need it, I have it. If I don't, I'll have an extra one that I can put to use another time. All right, so let's go ahead and stamp this out. Okay, and now we're just going to do a little bit of die cutting and then put this card together. Okay. Now I cut them in half. I cut them smaller just so that they'll fit through my mini cut and emboss machine, and that way I don't have to bring out the big baby. I don't have to bring it out. I can work everything from the mini cut and emboss machine. All right, let's grab everything and then let's start die cutting. Oops. I tell y'all, I think I have stacks and stacks that's balancing precariously. And I'm like, I'm trying to be very careful not so that things don't fall over and so on and so forth. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna need this, And I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna need this guy too, but I don't need him right yet. So let's just work with what we need. All right. There is a lot of die cutting in tonight's class, y'all. Okay? Just so you know, that's the leaves, I think. Yes. And this is my flower. I might have to pull it out of frame just so that I can see it. Sometimes when I am filming, if I'm not standing directly over, if I'm not standing directly over it, I tend to be off just a little bit. So let me grab my tape, de-stickify it a lot. Okay. So we're doing a little bit of ATX late night stamping tonight. Yes. There are just some days where I get home from work and I absolutely have to get into my craft room, whether I'm shooting a video or not. I just need to craft, right? Do you have days like that? Because generally, for me, it's very difficult for me to get into my craft room during the work week because I work, obviously. And I'm trying harder to get to bed at a reasonable hour. Yeah. And for me to get to bed at a reasonable hour, it just means I gotta start shutting down. And when I say shutting down, I mean like my system, my body. I gotta start turning my brain off way in advance. Because part of the reason I have trouble sleeping is my brain doesn't shut off. I have some of my former employees, my soldiers, would tell you that it was not unlike them to, it was not unheard of for their inbox to be flooded with emails that came from me, you know, at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it was, because that's when my brain was functioning. Yeah. So let's just say sometimes they just didn't have to wonder what their work day would consist of, because their emails would be flooded with this needs to be done, that needs to be done, okay, don't forget to do that, oh, we have this coming up, let's make sure this, oh my gosh, it was, yeah. They put up with me though. That's number 2. Alright, I don't need this again right now, so we can put this away. Let's work on our single flower. Let's just get rid of the tape on that one. That was dumb. I wasn't thinking. There it is. I was not thinking. But I am excited. So, I went to the Stampin' Up convention called On Stage. It was in Long Beach, California. And we were able to do what's called, if you were at On Stage, we were able to order before any other demonstrator. So we had a very limited selection of products that we could pre-order from. Well, that's here, that's arrived, and then we have the pre-order period has started, and that's the period where every single demonstrator can order products from the upcoming release, whether it's a catalog or the online exclusives, right? And so based on that, I placed another order, because now with the pre-order, we could order anything in the catalog, provided it was available, of course. And so I've already pre-ordered. If it was part of the in color collection, the new colors, I got it. I ordered it, yes. So I've got new ink pads coming. I've got the new ink colors in the ink pad, the stamping blends, the designer series paper. Where's this at? What else that came in the in colors? There are no Stampin' Right markers anymore. Don't forget, we don't do those anymore. And then, excuse me. Okay, let's cut these out. And then, because I am going to do a paper share, I went ahead and I pre-ordered as many of the designer series paper as I possibly could. Okay. I am going to start promoting the I don't need this one anymore. The clubs. I'm doing the designer series paper share, and then I'm going to be doing what's called an in color club. Okay. Now I'm excited to. This is the first time I'm going to do an in color club. Right. Now there has to be at least 5 people in the in color club. Why does there have to be 5 people in the in color club? Well, there's 5 in colors. And because there's 5 in colors, we need 5 people to be in there. So how that will work in that club is, once you sign up for the in color club, you agree to be committed for the entire 5 months. So it is a 5-month long commitment. And every month you will get a different color. Alright, so let me see if I can remember the color names. One of the colors is Hydrangea Hue. There's, oh my god, something Pine. Is it Peaceful Pine? There's, oh my gosh, Golden Glow. There's Crisp Cantaloupe, and there's a pink. There is a pink, I don't remember the name of it, but there's 5 colors. So once you are part of the color club, the first month you will get everything in that colorway. So you'll get the ink pad, you'll get the stamping blends, you'll get the what's that thing called? The cardstock. Oh my gosh, how did I forget the cardstock? You'll get the cardstock. I believe they're in color gems. Everybody will get that. There's ribbon, coordinating ribbon that goes there. Okay, so you will get everything in that colorway for that month. The next month you'll get the other color, until at the end of the 5th month you will now have all 5 of the in colors. So that's how the color club works. think I've got everything die cut now for this one card. Except the sentiment, of course, so we can do that in a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead and put the card together, and then we'll be finished with this first card. Let's move this aside. All right, let's see what we have going on here. And I know I'm probably going to use these again, so I'm not putting them too far away. Uh-oh. Yeah, the tape is on there. Oh, I had tape on the back. I didn't realize that. Okay. How did you get on the back? Did I? Okay. I don't know, but it's there. It wouldn't release them. That's what happened. I'm like, why is this so hard to come out? Because there was tape on the back of the cardstock that I didn't realize. Okay, so here we go. All right. Alrighty, that one's done. Let's make sure all the loosey-goosey bits are popped out. All right, now let's bring this in. So on the card, we've got this, and I do like to lay things out just a little bit to make sure that what I'm seeing correctly. Right, and then we've got one like this. Come on. Sometimes having long nails does not work. I'm finding that as much as I love the silicone mats, they don't work very well with my nails. That's all I'm saying. Right, and then this seems like it went here, and then this seems like it went about here, right? Something like that, right? And then we had another here, like that, and then something like this. So that's what I see. I'm going to cut that part off because that seems not to be there. Okay. I find I'm doing surgery a lot on stamps. There we go. Okay, so that's kind of how things seem to be. So let's go ahead and get things put in place. So I know everybody that probably watches are probably asleep. What I want to do is this. I don't want that high of a profile. Right? I want to have just a little bit of dimension on the top, on the tips. And then everything else will be laid down. get these little pop-up notices, and I swear to goodness I have unsubscribed, so I'm not quite sure why I'm still getting these notices, but hey. Okay. Okay. I just want just a little bit of lift on, yeah, the outer edges of the leaves. Now, did you know you could add adhesive liquid glue to the these dimensionals? You can. Okay, and then all we're gonna do is now we're gonna add this guy like so. And I'm trying to make sure that I have a central area, right? So that I can hide a lot of these tails, okay? Well, that's what I'm trying to do here, right? So this guy's gonna go about right here. Oh, for goodness sakes. Right? And then this guy. Got to remember that I need a little bit of room for that last flower. Right? So I think we had here. It's kind of where we went with that. This guy is going to go about here. Okay? So I'm going to put the adhesive the dimensional right here. Have it so that it's here. And then I'm going to put a little bit of liquid adhesive that's why that wasn't sticking like that. Okay? I think I seem to have forgotten to take some adhesive off of things. The backing. So now here we go. Alright, so that part's done. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to have this, and I think I'm going to do a little bit more surgery. Right? And now I'm going to put this right here. Right? But I want the dimensionals on that one to be a little bit more. My roller would probably have been the better choice for this. Oh, for goodness sakes. When I don't practice it, I find that I end up having a little bit of difficulty. So what I try to do is put the point of the take your pick tool just so that it gets to just beneath the release paper level. I don't want it to go too deep into the foam, because then that way it won't release easily. Okay? There we go. So now we're going to put this guy right here, like that. And then this one we're going to put here, like so. Okay? Now, I don't want any dimensions on that side. I only want them on that side. Alright. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. Ugh. I didn't. I just messed up a little bit. But that's okay, we're going to take them off. No, liquid glue is going to go on that side. I know, I realized it. I'm like, why did I just do that? But, easy fix. It's gone. I have so much release paper everywhere in here. Alright. And we're going to put adhesive on this side. And then we're going to adhere everything here in this way. Okay, just like that. That kind of looks like our picture, doesn't it? Alright, so we're done with that part. We just need to do our sentiment now. And one other thing. If you know anything at all about me, you know that I like splatter, and you know I like glitz and glam. So I'm gonna splatter because that is what I do. And I find that these days, if I don't have some splatter on things, I'm not exactly happy. So let's grab a little bit of water. I'm gonna go with this one. That one just seems to make the most sense to me. All right. And add a little splatter. Just adds interest to me. That's it. Okay, see, look at that. See the splatter on there? Awesome. So now I'm going to go get the sentiment and get that ready. And then once that sentiment is stamped, you guys, this first card can be assembled and put to bed. Where's my stamp set? somewhere. Ah, there it is. All right. It is going to be a little bit of a late night, you guys. Yes, because we got 4 cards to get through. Here's our sentiment. And they've got it in the same Timid Tiger. So I'm going to keep it in Timid Tiger. I was looking for my eraser, but this might do too. This might do too. Okay. It's a little big for the job, but hey, it is what it is. So I'm gonna grab a piece of scrap paper, and it truly is scrap. Make sure I condition it. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp, "You are appreciated." Excellent. Excelente. Grab our die. Bring our embossing machine back, or die cut machine back in. Let's get our sentiment die cut. I took it off because all right. It's a little warped. I gotta turn it over. Okay. So again, this is the Garden Poetry Suite collection. It is an online exclusive. Now guys, you cannot purchase it as of right now as a suite, and that's because I believe it was, when I checked this morning, you might want to check for yourself because it might have changed, but when I checked this morning, it was unavailable because of the ribbon. If you want to get the stamp and die with the 3D embossing folder, everything else in the bundle or the suite was available except for the what am I talking about here? Let me put one here. How far over can I go? Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm checking. I'm just checking to see how far over we could go. Okay? like this down here, so I'm going to keep mine down here. That's where I'm going to keep that. I'm excited for the weekend. Anybody have big plans for the weekend? My sorority, we have our Power of She event for our Finer Womanhood Month activity. So there's going to be like a panel of, there's going to be panel discussions, things of that nature. That's going to talk about social and economic justice. Let me make sure. I got to stand up because I can't tell if that's crooked or not. I literally cannot. Right? Alright, so that's done. Right? And let me tell you what I'm going to do. Because I like to have some shimmer on things, I'm going to grab my shimmer spray. Yes, I am. And I have a little bit, I have a box. I think it was a paper pumpkin box. Let me see if I can find it. And I'm going to spritz this entire sheet. Actually, I should probably put it on there first. The frost. And I'm going to spritz that so I can have some shimmer. I don't know where my box is. Hold on. Alright, I don't see my box, so I'm gonna take a chance. Ugh. I'm gonna take a chance and spray just like that. Okay? I'm gonna set that up. Do you see the shimmer on it? It's very shimmery, guys. It is. I love my shimmer. Okay. While I'm letting that dry just a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and score my cardstock. It's already cut to 8.5 by 5.5. And now I'm just going to score it at 4 1/4, like so. And then one of the reasons I love this lip is we're going to make sure it's as even as we can possibly get it. Okay. Someone joined me. Who's joining me for a little bit of stamping? Welcome to the craft room. Come on in. We are playing with the garden poetry. Okay, where's my stuff? We're playing with the garden poetry suite, and I did mention that it's as of this morning. I don't know if it's still available now, but as of this morning, it was unavailable as a complete suite for purchase because the ribbon was not available. Okay. Now with Stampin' Up, the whole suite is unavailable if any one part of it is unavailable. Okay. That suite item number. You can purchase the bundle, and you can purchase the designer series paper. You can purchase them individually or as a bundle, but you just will not be able to get it as a suite. And again, the suite includes the stamp, the dies, the 3D, the hybrid embossing folder, designer series paper, the ribbon. Okay. I'm burnishing just to make sure that we have good contact everywhere and this will adhere properly. Okay, so our first card is kind of done, kind of, sort of. Ooh, I have these metallic paint pen markers. I haven't played with them, but you know, you gotta do it sometimes. You just gotta do it. Did I have? Let me see what this one is. I thought I had did one of them. Did I not? No. Hold on. I have a lot of like shimmer pins and things of that nature that I like to bring out. I play a lot. Okay, I think this is the one. Yeah. I think that's the one. And then I'm just gonna give this a nice border. See? And you would think that I had a border there. I've been doing that a lot lately too. Let me yeah, because this needs to come down a little bit like that. Like that. All right, so card number 1 is done and we are good to go. I don't think I need any gems on it. There's some shimmer on this everywhere. Let me see if I turn this light off, if you can see the shimmer. Can you see the shimmer at all? All right, and so now that was card number 1, and we're gonna mosey on over to card number 2. Turn my light back on so I can see. All right, so the next card we're gonna work on is this one. Okay, now this is probably a mini slim line is how it was intended to be in the artist renditions, I'm gonna assume, but I have lately taken to playing with 4x6 cards. So in order to get a 4x6 card base, you will need a piece of cardstock that is 8x6, and then we're going to score it on the 8-inch side at the 4-inch mark, and there we will have our 4x6 card base. And this is Cloud Cover. That is the color of my base. And then I'm going to do exactly what I just did and use the lip to create my fold. Okay. Alright, so we did that, and then we have a piece that is, what size did I go with? I can't remember. I think I went with, because I made this up. I made it up, I really did. So this is 3.5 by 4.5 by 5. 3.5 by 5 is what this is. Could it have been smaller? Absolutely. Could it have been bigger? Absolutely. But I decided I was going to go with the 3.5 by 5.5. All right, so what we need to do on here, there is a stamp in here that is like the raindrops, it looks like. Well, before I move on, let me do something here. Let me do a little cleaning and putting away. Right? Even though I know we're going to use them again, I'm just going to put some things away. I'm just cleaning my stamp, that's all. Okay. Alright, so we're going to put this guy back on here. And I should have done what I should have done, which is I should have taken my picture so I know where all the stamps went. Alright. So what I'm going to do here, in the artist rendition, they have white randomly stamped. I think I'm just going to do tone on tone. I think that's what I'm going to do. That way, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do tone on tone. Now I did get one of the ink pads, because you know there was an issue when Stampin' Up brought out the 2025 to 2020. No, is it 2024 to 2020? Wait, which ones are these? These are the ones that are going to expire next year. So the 2025, 2027 in colors. When they brought them out, there was an issue with the cloud cover ink pad. So Stampin' Up chose not to sell it. Now, as demonstrators, we could purchase it if we wanted to. And of course, I did. Of course I did. I'm just randomly stamping, guys. Okay? Now, some of this is going to get covered up, so as you can see, that's what's going to happen, right? Okay, so that's done. On here, I'm not sure what that red is, but I'm going to go with, because it's an in color, I'm going to stick with Strawberry Slush. What is this one for? I think. I'm going to stick with Strawberry Slush on that one. Now, some things that you could have done on this, on here, you could have stamped in Versamark and heat emboss with white embossing powder. You could have, I mean, honestly, you could have used designer series paper if you wanted to. You still can. And again, this is Strawberry Slush. I'm just gonna stamp this out. Okay. Okay. And I think I'm just gonna fussy cut. Guys, yes, there are dies. Sometimes for me, the faster choice is just to fussy cut it. And that's what I do. Some people just do not like fussy cutting, and that's okay. I find for me, sometimes it's faster than having to try to go find the, well, not find because it's right there, but bring out the embossing machine. Oh, I mean, know what I meant to tell you guys? Next year, 2027 incentive trip is to Costa Rica. You guys, I am wanting to go to Costa Rica so bad. But I would love, it takes a little bit to earn the incentive trip, and I would love to earn this 2027 incentive trip to Costa Rica from Stampin' Up. So in order for me to earn the trip, there's a couple of things. I won't tell you what they are right here, but I would love to have a conversation with you regarding what it takes to earn that trip to Costa Rica. If you are interested in going, and you're not a Stampin' Up demonstrator, you'd like to become a Stampin' Up demonstrator, you've been thinking about becoming a Stampin' Up demonstrator, you are even remotely curious about becoming a Stampin' Up demonstrator, guys, please reach out to me, and I would love to speak with you and tell you a little bit more about my journey as a Stampin' Up demonstrator. And not only my journey, but what stamping and crafting means to me. Because you guys, it's not all about me personally, I call myself an extroverted introvert. Because that's what I am. Okay? And I find that for stamping, I get out, when I'm in this craft, I have learned to be out a little bit more. I react to people a little bit better, not more. Okay, can I improve in that area? Absolutely. But I find that my crafting gives me a sense of calm. It's definitely my stress reliever, that is for sure. I can probably go maybe a couple of days without somehow getting back into my craft room. Whether I walk in here just to walk in here, or I come in and I actually sit and create something, as long as I have had to spend some time in my craft room, I'm okay. I've got a lot of stuff going on in my world right now. Alright, so let's take a look and see what we've got going on, because this is going to go about here. So I am going to, where's my leaf stamp? Here's my leaf stamp. And all I'm going to do right now is just make sure I have an idea of placement, yeah? So I think I'm going to go with Shy Shamrock. Shy Shamrock is a retiring in color, so I am going to use it as the green for my leaves. And I'm going to stamp a couple of leaves. So I'm going to have one about right here. Okay. And then going to have one about right here. I'm going to ask you a question. When you're crafting, are you a clean as you go, or a put awayer as you go, or do you let it all pile up and then you try to put it away at the end of the night? Which type of stamper are you? That's the question for tonight. What kind of a stamper are you? I think I like this one better. I don't know why. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this one here like that, and it seems like it's popped up. So we're gonna go ahead and add some foam tape. On there. I do not know who's driving those things, riding those things at this hour of the night. Oh my gosh. Okay. The beauty of foam tape is you can like cut what you need. You can do the same thing with the little round ones as well, or square ones, but it's just different. Okay, before I do that, let's get some splatter going here, because y'all know how I feel about splattering. And I think I'm gonna just go with let's splatter with some black. And I don't want too much. Okay. Gotta get the mix of water and paint, or whatever medium you're using for splatter. You gotta get that mix right. Okay. Okay. So we've got that. And now we need our sentiment. Now, there's a thank you in here. Let's see. Thank you is one word. What's our die look like? Do we have a thank you die? I don't know. Let's see. No. There is no thank you die. So it looks like the die was, the stamp was fussy cut. And we can do that. So it is heat embossed on what looks like black cardstock. I don't have any black cardstock right here, but we're gonna make it work. Okay, I'm going to grab a piece of black cardstock. Not sure why I thought I had some black cardstock over here, but that's okay. There we go. And I'm just gonna, so I don't have like a rough cut, I'm just gonna cut a piece that's about 2 inches wide, 1.5 inches wide. I don't think I need it to be, let's go, 1.5 inches is a little big, so maybe 1.25 inches. Let's cut it to 1.5 inches. heat embossing powder. No, this one's white. I know, I have them marked. Alrighty. There are times when it's more efficient to put stamp to ink, and then there are times when it's easier or better to put ink to stamp. I find that the larger the stamp, the more I tend to do ink to stamp. Make sure I have good transfer of ink. Perfect. And then we are going to put our white embossing powder on here. I'm gonna just heat emboss this. Let me know where you're watching from, guys, and if this is your first time, welcome. Welcome, and thank you for joining me in the craft room for a little bit of late night stamping. I do know that you have your choice of crafter and that you've chosen to spend any time with me, whether you're watching me live or on the replay. It is appreciated. Alright, let's get this embossed. If you are returning to the craft room, welcome back. So good to see you. Alright, and so now we're just going to go ahead and quickly fussy cut this. Where's everyone watching from? Oops. Tip for fussy cutting. I'm sure you have heard it so many times before, but the thing about fussy cutting, two things. First tip is try, whichever is your dominant hand, try to make sure that there's not a whole bunch of excess paper or cardstock on that, because that could get in the way of maneuvering your scissors or your snips. Okay? The next tip is to make sure that with your non-dominant hand, that's what you're using to turn your paper. You are not using you're not cutting with your scissors. You're using the non-dominant hand to guide the paper. You notice? I find that there's so much more control when you do it that way. I have relatively easy, or even, I should say. Okay, so they went all the way down. Relatively even borders when I do it that way. When I stray, that's when I got all kinds of stuff and I gotta go clean up. Right? So I'm gonna cut that off. Ooh, what did I do? I ripped my paper. Not nice. Not nice. But we're gonna make it work anyway, because we're not gonna heat emboss it again. Alright? And then I'm just gonna go all the way around, because now I'm gonna cut this dude like that. That was probably the wrong way to do that, but it is what it is. Because I ripped my letter there, and I didn't mean to do that. And because I did that, I won't have the leverage that I need to rotate the cardstock without ripping. Okay? So there are just some little decisions that you're gonna have to make when it comes to fussy cutting. And those you'll kind of just learn. You'll find what works best for you, what does not work for you, and then you'll go from there. Okay? And then this part should be easier. One, because it's more straight, it's a lot less bumps and curves. And there we go. Sometimes when I'm most times when I'm fussy cutting, talking is not something that I do a lot of. I pay a lot of attention. So I will go back and I will check messages. If I've missed any questions, please, or if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I will go back. If I don't answer it live, I will go back and I will check and I will respond to your questions. Now this is one where I kind of wish there was a die. I love dies that I love sentiments that have dies. Fussy cutting is not so bad, but depending on the word, there's a lot of twists and turns and so on and so forth. So sometimes my preference is just to have a die for that sentiment. Doesn't always work, but that is my preference. Alright, so now we've got this, and we're gonna attach things where they need to go. Now, this is what we used for that. So let's trim this down a little bit. Where's my... So up to the A is where I need to have a little bit of dimension. Yes, I do talk to myself, you guys. When you are a solo crafter like I am, you do tend to talk to yourself. One, you're the only one that can respond to your questions. Is that not true? Alright, so we're going to do that one here. I want to put this K right there. let's go ahead and put some liquid glue. Let's take this off first. Guys, we are almost done with card number 2. And we just got 2 more to go. Yeah, I say just, right? I say just. We just got 2 more to do. So we're going to put this one here, like so. Let me make sure. Is that straight? It's straight enough. Right? And then I'm going to put this one like so. So then I just need from here back. Same way you do stamp surgery, you can do dimension surgery. In case you didn't know that, you could. Uh-oh. There we go. And then now, I believe this guy was here in our thoughts, and then down. Okay, I can use a little bit. That's that stamp surgery thing I'm doing again. Or rather dimension surgery. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of it right under there. Okay. Perfect. All right. Clean up as I go. This card is just about done, except for some gems. I'm going to just put this guy on right here, like that. Unfortunately, I'm thinking that maybe, because I love to add dimensions on my card, and I love to add gems to my cards, but man, I'm understanding that U.S. Postal is getting ready to go up again. And I think that will make it extremely difficult to continue to, you know, add, because I mean, I think right now, what is it, 78 cents, 73 cents, something like that. I hear the intent is to go up to like 98 cents or $1 or something like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is just so much. Like, who knows if we'll be able to continue to send cards anymore at the rate everything is going. I mean, it's not just gas prices that are going up. I mean, it is literally everything. All right, so I am missing some. Let's see if I can find some gems. I know I got a load of them. I got a lot of gems. Of course, I just need to find the ones that I want to use, which is almost always the problem. It's never that I don't have some it is almost always, where is it? Those might work, but I don't want them. No, I'm going into the recesses now. I do buy a lot of, oh, let's use this one. I think those will work nicely. These are the glossy dots. They've got a 1-5 number, so I know this is this is really old. So this works well for my using my old stuff. Observing an odd rule of odds. All right, card number 2 is done. All right, so we're gonna work on number 3. So this is card number 2. Where'd I put 1? Okay. Next one we're gonna work on is this one. All right. This one I'm working in Pretty Peacock as my color palette. Now, this one is to show off or showcase the, what's that? The hybrid folder. And it's designed to cut but not remove what it cuts. So the leaves will have a little bit of dimension on them, but they're not completely popped out. These have popped out because of where I cut them on with the embossing machine. So we're gonna make it work. Now, this is the two-tone Pretty Peacock. Really and truly what I want to do is, but I don't have one in here. I wanted to take the file and file it off so you would see a little bit of the cardstock, the other color shining through, if that makes sense, what I wanted to do. But unfortunately, I don't know why I don't have a pair of, why would anybody have a emery board in here, right? So we're going to cut this, or we already cut it. We're going to score it at 4 1/4. Okay? And then we're just going to put it in here. Make sure it's even before we burnish our fold. But what I am going to do, if I can find it, is I'm going to drag my white ink across it. Just to do a little bit of a highlight. Now it doesn't have to catch it all, but I'm just wanting to get a little bit. Now the white is hard, it doesn't dry fast, right? Okay. And that's just a little bit of the ink dragging technique, yeah? Okay. Let that dry for a second. Isn't that pretty? Again, so the catalog and the online pictures, those I would use for inspiration, okay? So it doesn't have to be exact. What is all of that? Is that leaves? Ah. So I think because I already have it out, I'm going to cheat. I am going to cheat. Sorry, guys. I have the bigger half for the inside. No, this was for die cutting. This was for the inside of the card. And then I am just going to, how about I do that? Okay, I'm going to use the basic beige. I'm not sure what color they use, but I'm going to use basic beige. Grab my pretty peacock. And my basic beige. Basic beige, and I'm going to do one in pretty peacock. Just one. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to die cut both of them. And I know that had this die. I'm not going to fit. Oh, I can fit it that way if I cut it long ways. Okay, so we're gonna add this here, so we can cut that. Oh wait, let's just stamp it then. How about we just do that? Sorry guys, I'm talking to myself. I love talk. I don't want to say I love to talk to myself, but I talk to myself a lot. I do. Who does not talk to themselves? Alright, let's just do it all in one, right? And I am going to stick with the pretty peacock to count for this sentiment. Make sure that's lined up. Oops. I'm excited for the weekend. Is anybody else excited for the weekend? I don't even know why I'm excited for the weekend, but I just am. Did I put it away already? I did. Pretty peacock. And I'm using the pretty peacock because that way I don't have to heat emboss it. Done. They have. I'm gonna change the orientation of my die a little bit just because of how I stamped it. This is how I de-stickify. Either I put it on my skin so it catches some of the oils, or I put it on my clothing. Okay, so we're going to put this here. And then I'm going to cut this off. Run it all through at once. Okay. And then I'll only have to do it one more time. You still with me, everybody? You guys are amazing. Alright, let's put this out of the way. It's still not 100% dry yet, so we just want to be mindful of that. That white craft ink does take a little bit of time to dry, so if you are going to use it, just remember that and give yourself a little bit of extra time, okay? All right. You know what's going to be the hardest part for me to find is my linen thread. Because I don't know where that is. I do not know where it is. I think we're good. Hopefully I haven't chopped it off. We'll find out in a minute. So I chose to cut it that way instead of stamping and die cutting the smaller leaves. I chose to do that. That way I can do a little bit of surgery on the stamp and cut it apart and grab what I need versus having to stamp and die multiple times. Stamp and die cut multiple times. All right. I see someone else is a late night stamper too. Who else is late night with me? My watch is going to tell me I have poor sleep for today. It wants me to go to bed at like, ugh. It does. It wants me to go to sleep at like 9 o'clock. And I'm like, wait a minute now. 9 o'clock, I'm either just finishing dinner or I'm just doing something. And I'm like, that's not going to work with my time frame. Not at all. All right, let's take a look and see what we've got going on here. So I'm going to do some dye surgery. Let's cut this off. Right, like that. And like that. Right. And then, so I can leave this. This can be down here somewhere. And then, I think we can probably cut that and then follow this path right here. Okay, and then we're just gonna clean them up a little bit. That's gonna be up there, and then I should have done 2 of these. Did I not do 2 of the turquoise? Okay. We're going to alter the design just a little bit then. Okay. That's one. So we'll have something like I'm going to alter the design just a bit. Just a little bit. So we have that. And then I'm going to have something like this. And then I'm going to have because I don't want that to be hidden. So we're going to adjust a little bit. So that's going to be like that. I am going to alter the design just a little bit so we can accommodate what we have done. Right? So I want this to be here. Oops. Just like that. Alright, and then, alright mama, so you're not letting it dry a little bit there. Here we go. And then I'm gonna have to do a little surgery on this one too. Alright. And I am just following the path. Right? And because something like that is what I'm going to do. Alright? hadn't thought about, when I decided just to cut that one, I didn't really think about that. I'm not sure what that's gonna look like. Where is this guy? Because that's what I'm going to end up doing. Okay? Perfect. And then, what's this guy? Oh, this guy's going to go up here too. So I'm just going to add this in here as well. Look at that. Alright. Sometimes I do just work through a design. Make sure all of the elements work the way I think they ought to work, right? So we have something like that. Okay? So now I'm going to take some score tape . Liquid glue is very strong, but I'm going to take a little bit of score tape. Score tape is also double-sided tape, and I'm going to put it right up here. Burnish that in. Take that off. And then fix this guy where I need it. So I'm going to put that about right there. So you see how that works? And then now at the bottom, I'm going to have this guy. Let's clean that up a little bit. Make this a little bit more rounded, right? And then I had the pretty peacock on the bottom up there, so I'm going to put this here, like so. And then this is going to fill the gap down here, like that. Do you see how that works? Sometimes things work out. Sometimes they don't, but sometimes they do. Okay? Like that. And then I'm going to put some more score tape. So the last one I wanted to work on tonight is pretty much of a fun fold. It is and it isn't a fun fold. So you let me know. I might just do it. If you guys have to leave, that's fine. But I did say I was going to do 4 cards. And if I tell you I'm going to do it, I do try to do it. Okay, that goes into place right there. Now we know that this is going to need to be popped up, so let's go ahead and do that. So this is going to go on here like that, and then I'm going to need to find some baker's twine. I'm not sure where it is. Alright, so let's go ahead and put this part together. I think we're dry enough. Now, while I'm not putting liquid glue on every single piece, I am trying to make sure that I am very liberal with the liquid glue. Okay. The white still isn't dry. Again, if you are using the craft white ink, it does take a bit of time to dry. So definitely plan ahead if you are going to use it. Looking straight? Nope, it's not straight. Not straight. That looks better. Okay. All right. I will find my baker's twine, and I will add baker's twine to this project. I don't know where it is though. I know I put it away somewhere, someplace where I should be able to find it, and I can't. Okay, so we've got this. I added some of the Frost Shimmer Spray, so you can see that's there. And then once I add the baker's twine, I'll know where exactly I should put my, where did I put the basic beige? I think this is why I tend to put things away. Alright guys, it is 11 o'clock, 11 p.m. I am not going to get to the fourth card tonight. I will make it, I will post it so you can see what the fourth one is. Actually, maybe I'll just, if I have time tomorrow, I'll come on and I'll, if I have time tomorrow, I will come back on and make that card for you. How does that work? There's no ink on that. That didn't make any sense, did it? And then this is going to go on the inside of the card. And then we will have finished our 3 cards, oops, for the evening. At least 3. I will come back tomorrow. It will probably be another late night stamping because I do have an activity tomorrow after work. So I will see you tomorrow and we will make the 4th card in this series for tonight. Okay, here we go. All right, let's add this, and then guys, we are done for tonight. Not bad, if I do say so myself. For starting an hour late, I took 2 hours to create these 3 cards. Okay. All right. Card number 3. So here are the 3 cards we made this evening, featuring the garden poetry stamp set, or suite. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, if you see any of the products here and you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would appreciate it if you would go to my website and shop on my online store. Here's the information to shop at my online store. It's www.sweetsignatures.stampinup.net. And guys, if you have any questions about the products that I used, a question about a technique that I used, please reach out to me. My email address is scrolling across the top. And then if you are interested in becoming a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love you to have you on the ATX Stampers team, the Sweet Signature Stampers team. And let's just have some fun, you guys. Again, thank you for joining me this evening. I apologize for going an hour late, but life happens and sometimes we just need to roll with the punches. Thanks, guys. Have a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Happy stamping!